And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Respect!
I'm not supposed to say what I'm gonna say right now, but I have to let you in on a secret.
Say it.
Turn that off, please. Know what? I don't mind. Tape it.
None of y'all meat males, y'all puppies, y'all little boozies, none of these names.
When's the new album coming? New album coming up?
Seriously, bro? Yo, stop talking to me.
Okay. All right.
How many no's?
Way more no's than yes.
But do the no's get to you? Like, do you have to verbally say no?
I'm Kim Kardashian West. I'm a mother, millionaire, law student, and billionaire.
I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that.
Because all of them. This whole movie, honestly, the work that I did on screen was easier than the work that I did off screen.
Number 10, rehabilitation. Oh baby, baby, how was she supposed to know that substances don't end very well? Britney is famous for many things, her voice, her missing hair, and now her freedom. But one of her tamer media scandals came in 2007 following a long night of rage-fueled menacing. She checked herself into a rehab facility. She had recently divorced from her background dancer slash husband, Kevin Federline, and apparently was not taking the situation well. As we know now, there was a massive amount of media and public involvement with the divorce. The entire thing was basically documented for everyone to see. I still remember Britney's bald head on my TV screen at the age of 6 because my sister just loved TMZ. According to her manager at the time, the messy divorce combined with the public shame that she was feeling, the decision was made to check herself into a rehabilitation facility somewhere in Los Angeles. She stayed in the facility for 30 days before being released back into the wild, but despite that stint, things did not get better, and her family life especially was next to suffer. Number 9, the 2007 VMAs. The MTV Video Music Awards have been host to some of the most confrontational and dramatic moments in music history. Nicki Minaj famously called out host Miley Cyrus when she took the stage to accept an award. Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech to tell people that he was happy for Taylor, but that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Yeah, I know he goes by Ye now, but I don't care. When Britney Spears took to the stage at the 2007 VMAs, fans were happy to see her on her feet as the media made it seem like she had been going down a dark path, which she was. She appeared on stage sporting a blonde wig, which was obvious to anyone who was aware of the head shaving incident a few months prior. She started singing in the most under-enthusiastic way ever, and while her background dancers are giving it their all, it looks like Britney's just stumbling around the stage with little to no idea what's going on. She even attempted to lip-sync her songs, but she failed miserably, barely coming close to what she needed to do. The performance, which was her last before taking her hiatus from performing, will live forever on the internet for the world to see, and was actually parodied in the final moments of the comedy Disaster Movie, which is the most random piece of cinema I have ever seen in my life. Number 8, Public Family Feud. Britney is just like anyone else. She brushes her teeth in the morning, she goes to bed at night, and she constantly fights with her family, like non-stop. Now you guys don't do that? Okay, I'm just gonna make a phone call. Britney wasn't born into a typical happy family life. In fact, quite the opposite. Her parents struggled to make ends meet, her father was an avid consumer of the no-no juice, and an aggressive presence in her life. According to Britney's mom, her daughter urged her to leave her husband several times over the years after seeing her suffer years and years of verbal mistreatment. Throughout her rise to fame, her father was primarily kept out of her life until 2007 when she was placed under a conservatorship, which means that a court decided that she was unfit to control her own finances, so they placed her father in charge, because he had such a great track record. Over the 13 years she was under the conservatorship, it's estimated that her father stole $5 million from his own daughter. She famously fought with her sister Jamie Lynn, who was the star of a Nickelodeon show called Zoe 101, until outside life caused her to take a break from the acting world to be a mama. The paparazzi was able to capture lots of juicy pics of Britney yelling at her family, blowing up every single aspect they could of it. She eventually patched things up with her sister in 2019, but the jury is still out on her relationship with her dad. Number 7, marrying a background dancer. Britney's love life has been anything but straight and narrow. Over her life, she's had many men come and go, never seeming to find the right fit for her lifestyle. In 2006, Britney married a man named Kevin Federline after meeting one fateful night in a nightclub. After spending 1 week together, Britney invited Kevin to join her world tour, where he acted as both her lover and a background dancer. They described meeting as love at first sight. Kevin spotted her from across the room and felt an instant connection. A magnet appeared in front of them like a cartoon and it just drew them together. The paparazzi couldn't get enough of these two. While they were seemingly in a genuine relationship, they made it seem like the couple were the most chaotic in the world. Their union was a media massacre. They were so stoked to see this relationship either crash and burn or, well, yeah, they just wanted it to crash and burn. After less than a year together, the couple filed for divorce, apparently citing constant fighting as their main issue. Not long after, Britney went on her famous meltdown, so needless to say, she did not take the breakup very well. Number 6, smacked herself. This is a more recent scandal with Miss Spears. Recently, Britney was in the most peaceful and godlike city in the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, when she spotted the NBA player Victor Wembanyama at a hotel, and I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that name. According to the police reports and the recently released security video, Britney tapped Vic on his back and shoulder in an attempt to get his attention. This is when his security team had reportedly backhanded her, causing the whole situation in the first place. Britney claimed that the security detail laid their hands on her, but the reality was the security team's ninja-like reflexes caused them to accidentally push her back towards herself, inadvertently slapping herself across the face. The funny thing with that situation is just how hard she was convinced that someone else had hit her. Like she didn't feel her own hand touch her face. That'd be like me standing here right now and going, "Hey, who did that? Chris, is that you?" That's the camera guy, he never gets a shout out. With the footage now not only proving her guilt, but her misremembering of the situation, many are beginning to question if Britney was all there during the situation. Just saying, the only time I forget stuff that significant is after a couple of trips to my deck, if you know what I mean. Number 5, the meltdown. As many people know, Britney began a downward spiral health-wise in 2007. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, she not only shaved her head, but she went on a rage-fueled rampage across the city, taking down anyone in her path. After being swarmed by photographers at a gas station in LA, she went on a rampage wielding an umbrella and swinging it over and over at one of their cars, attempting to smash their window. She also hurled expletives at anyone and everyone with a camera, eventually launching the umbrella towards the crowd. This was the main incident that landed her in a psychiatric hold. Fun fact about that umbrella used in the incident, it was auctioned off for $7,000 online, and I cannot wait for it to show up. All my life savings on that thing. I hope there's still some broken glass on it. Number 4, accidentally released birthday suit pics. Birthday suits, a term which originated in Germany as a term for the clothes that you are born in, which is none. Britney accidentally exposed her birthday suit in 2022 when she posted a series of photos to her Instagram of herself holding her new puppy. While it may not seem outside the realm of reality for anyone who is a hardcore Britney fan, to everyone else, she just exposed herself on one of the most used social media platforms in the world. The photos were later deleted after a series of negative comments and messages began bombarding her inbox. Nothing ever came of this, but just let this entry be a reminder to never post a picture of yourself holding a puppy in your birthday suit. Hold a bearded dragon or a snake or something, make yourself look edgy. Number 3, weird TikToks. This entry isn't a scandal per se, but it certainly needs to be mentioned. Fans rejoiced when the hashtag #FreeBritney finally worked and she was released from her conservatorship in 2021. Since being released, fans were expecting her to possibly release some more music, or maybe even appear as a judge on a new reality show. Instead, what she has been up to is making some of the weirdest and hardest to watch TikToks on the planet. If you follow her account unironically, I do apologize, but this entry is probably not for you. Britney regularly posts videos of herself staring into the camera and dancing. Now, while this is the basis for the platform, she has this blank, lifeless stare when she does it, like she's peering directly into your soul. I've only ever witnessed a handful of these clips, but every time I do, I'm just reminded of how strange and unnerving the internet can be sometimes. Aren't you glad that you popped by this little slice of internet heaven? Click that like button if you are. Number 2, she shaved her head. In 2007, aka Britney's glory year, she famously posted a video of herself holding clippers in a barber's chair, missing most of her hair. Not all of it though, she looked a little bit like the dude from Brothers Grimm. If you haven't seen that movie, that is Heath Ledger's best performance, okay? A documentary about Britney's life was released in 2019 called Britney Spears Breaking Point. In the doc, she revealed the true story behind behind her shaving of the head. Following a brief stint in a rehab facility in Antigua, Britney fled to see her sons, who had been living with her ex Kevin. Of course, when she turned up at their doorstep and not at the facility that she was supposed to be in, Kevin refused to let her see the kids and sent her away. This led her to driving to Los Angeles to the salon where she shaved her head. The person who cut her hair kept it and quickly attempted to auction it off for $1 million, which sounds crazy, but you know that there are some weirdos out there who would have called that a bargain. Following the shaving, she made her way to a tattoo parlor where the artist asked her what happened to her hair, and Britney's response was, "I was just tired of people touching it. I just don't want people to touch my hair." This was an incident that eventually got Britney placed under the conservatorship, which she was released from in 2021, thankfully. Speaking of which, number 1, conservatorship. Britney's father was a dark cloud in her life, doing nothing but making everything harder for his daughter. Despite initially taking a back seat while she rose to fame, a court ruled in 2007 that she was unfit to control her own finances and granted that power instead to her father, who was a no-no juice enthusiast with a sweet tooth for expensive things. After the second time she was admitted to the hospital for psychiatric assessment, the financial power was thrust onto her father, who managed her money very well. I'm just kidding, he's a trash bag and he spent a lot of money that he didn't have. Her father reportedly stole $5 million from his daughter over the 13-year conservatorship, spending it on everything from vacations and boats to houses and cars, all wasted by Jamie. Financial woes were not the only problem that came with the conservatorship. According to a court report from 2019, Britney was unable to get married or have children under the conservatorship, which is, disgusting, just so gross. I don't care how crazy you are or unstable, if you want to get married, you go do it. Plus, what would have happened if she had a baby anyway? Like, oh, I'm sorry ma'am, you actually can't have that, you're too crazy for one of those, and I'm gonna have to confiscate that contraband. Thankfully, the conservatorship ended in 2021 and Britney is free to be her weird, wild self. If you need any proof, just check out the TikTok. Seriously, it's just...
Hollywood has covered up so many different scandals, but the biggest one happening right now has to do with Diddy. Now, Diddy has finally been exposed for his crime ring and how he treated his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. But apparently all of this was just an open secret in Hollywood, which is honestly really messed up. Now, a lot of celebrities have been to Diddy's parties and engaged in who knows what while there. I mean, multiple celebs have spoken out against Diddy, saying that they don't go to Diddy parties and that you just have to tell the man no over and over, which is honestly just so sketchy, and it's just like, why didn't anyone put a stop to this sooner? Now, Kanye West knew all about this allegedly, and in a 2022 interview he claimed that Diddy was actually working with law enforcement as an informant, and that's why he was able to get away with what he did. Is this credible? No, not really, not at all, but it is something to think about. Not to mention, Diddy is friends with some very powerful people like Jay-Z and Beyonce, Oprah Winfrey, and the Kardashians. In 2023, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura filed a lawsuit against Diddy that was promptly settled the next day. Then on February 26, 2024, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against him as well. On March 25th of this year, Homeland Security investigations served search warrants in the early morning raids on Diddy's homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Diddy was then arrested last week after being accused of criminal activity going back to at least 2008. He has pleaded not guilty to all charges and wanted to be released on bail, but a judge denied his request. We'll now just have to wait and see what happens, but it appears everyone who was a part of this or helped cover it up will be exposed. Oscar-winning director Roman Polanski was expelled from the Academy in 2018, as the expulsion came more than 40 years after a horrendous legal incident. In 1977, he was convicted of a serious crime, but he fled the United States before being jailed. Now, since he fled the country before sentencing, legally he still has to answer for all charges. But due to this, he can never come back to the United States, because if he ever does, he will be arrested. Now, one of the big problems is that numerous big shots in the movie industry have already written countless petitions asking to pardon Roman, which is honestly disgusting. Now, more than 100 people in the film industry, including Woody Allen, Martin Scorsese, David Lynch, Wes Anderson, Harrison Ford, among many others, signed a petition in 2009 calling for his release. Now, on October 30th, 2015, a Polish judge denied a request by the United States to extradite Roman, so it appears he'll never face the justice his victims deserve. Now, Woody Allen and Mia Farrow began dating in 1980 and were together for 12 years until their split. Now, during that time, the couple adopted 2 children, Dylan and Moses Farrow, and had 1 biological child, Ronan Farrow. Now, Mia and Woody split in 1992, shortly before Woodley publicly revealed that he was dating Soon-Yi Previn, Mia's 21-year-old daughter she had adopted with her ex-husband, Andre Previn. Woody began dating his technical stepdaughter. Now, Mia reportedly learned of this relationship early in 1992 when she discovered some photographs of Soon-Yi in Woody's apartment. Now, the two started dating when she was 21 years old, and they married 6 years later when Soon-Yi was 27 and Woody was 62. Now, when asked about his affair, Woody responded by saying, "The heart wants what it wants, there's no logic to those things. You meet someone and you fall in love, and that's that." Ronan Farrow said it best when describing his family dynamic: "He's my father married to my sister, that makes me his son and his brother-in-law." Now, this is all just so crazy because it seems like no one really cares about this, which is just insane. The situation is just so icky, not to mention Woody has been accused of committing some other crimes too, but people still continue to be in his movies and support him. Alfred Hitchcock was an interesting man to say the least, but what people didn't really know was that there was a dark side to him. Now, his first of many recorded instances of actor mistreatment occurred on the set of his film The 39 Steps. He would announce lead actress Madeleine Carroll's presence on set by yelling, "Bring on the Birmingham tart," and would leave her handcuffed to her co-star for hours on end, claiming to have lost the key. Now, he took pleasure in agitating his actresses with crude sexual jokes, and even going as far as making up a story about sleeping with Ingrid Bergman and having actress Janet Leigh filmed in the shower for a 6-day shooting period for Psycho. But by far the worst was his treatment of lead Tippi Hedren while shooting The Birds. Now, Hitchcock became infatuated with her, and after she refused some of his advances, he had live birds attached to her instead of mechanical ones for the shooting of a scene, which ultimately required her to be hospitalized. Later, Hitchcock's demands led to a horrible fight, according to Tippi. She then told him Marnie would be their last film together, and later recalled how Hitchcock told her he would destroy her career. He said, "I'll ruin your career," and he did ruin my career. He kept me under contract and paid me to do nothing for close to 2 years. Now, Tippi said this essentially ruined her career as a leading lady, and it's such a shame. Now, everyone knows about Britney Spears' meltdowns in 2006 and 2007. Now, amidst her split from Kevin Federline, she shaved her head and was sworn by paparazzi at a gas station, and in retaliation, she smashed a photographer's car with an infamous green umbrella. Now, later, at the beginning of 2008, she was put on a 5150 hold in the hospital. A week after this, she was sent back to the hospital on a 5150 hold, and her father Jamie was granted temporary conservatorship over the star. Now, in July that year, he requested for it to be extended, which it was. 2 years before the temporary court-ordered conservatorship was supposed to see its end, a judge then ruled that Jamie would retain control over his daughter for an indefinite period. Speaking of this period of time in her memoir, Britney said, "Even though I begged the court to appoint literally anyone else, and I mean anyone off the street would have been better, my father was given the job. And the court told me I was demented, and I wasn't even allowed to pick my own lawyer." Soon after the conservatorship was in place, she said her father said, "I just want to let you know, I call the shots. You sit right there in the chair and I'll tell you what goes on," she recalled. "I looked at him with a growing sense of horror. I'm Britney Spears now," he said. Britney also spoke out about that 13-year conservatorship as she hit out on her dad Jamie in the explosive memoir, as she opened up about the unrelenting control her family had over her, which, looking back, makes her feel sick. Now, people in Hollywood knew about this but didn't do anything. Finally, in 2019, fans started to realize that something was wrong, and they created the Free Britney movement. With fans backing Britney up, she felt like she finally had a voice and requested the conservatorship to end. Now, she and her father appeared in court multiple times over the year, and on November 12, 2021, the conservatorship was officially over. Now, so many people knew what was going on and directly profited off the whole situation though, which is just gross. And finally, a lot of people know that Judy Garland was treated poorly in the industry, but not that many people know the extent of it. She signed with MGM when she was just a teen, and she appeared on screen in the 1936's Pigskin Parade, a musical comedy about college football coaches. At that point, MGM execs were already bugging her about her weight. They told her she looked like a fat little pig with pigtails and placed her on a forced diet, something that would continue on in her career. The studio restricted her calories so heavily that she unfortunately fell into cycles of starving and binging. In 1938, an MGM exec told her that she was so fat she looked like a monster, and when she was 18, Louis Mayer himself allowed her to consume only black coffee and chicken soup, along with 80 cigarettes and diet pills every 4 hours to reduce her appetite. Now this kept the weight off, but anytime she stopped dieting, her weight would skyrocket. Studio managers would send memos on her daily eating, including notes like Garland gained 10 pounds, costumes refitted, and Judy sneaked out between takes 7 and 8 this afternoon and had a malted milk. Now, poor girl, as she was treated absolutely horrible by MGM.
This just in, the paparazzi suck and they cause a lot of problems. These are just some of those problems. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I am Nate, and these are the top 10 worst celebrity paparazzi scandals. Number 10, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was in the news for a lot of reasons in the early 2010s, whether it was her mental breakdown or her party escapades. The paparazzi was right there, ready to capture every little moment on camera. One night, Lindsay was in a van when it collided with a member of the paparazzi, smashing into the side door. The driver of the car was rushed to the hospital and an investigation took place, but it was ultimately revealed that the only person who was actually at fault was the driver of Lindsay's van. She's famous. Did you actually think that she drove her own vehicles? Despite the paparazzi clearly attempting to photograph Lohan at the time of the crash, like they're the reason it happened, the incident was chalked up to, look where you're going next time. I don't know, the driver of the van, Raymond Ortega, claims that Lindsay didn't even check to make sure that he was okay when he crashed into that car. Hey man, she was just a bit too focused on the man she just hit. Number 9, Kanye West. Kanye may claim to love the paparazzi, but his track record has shown anything but that. In 2013, well before Mr. Yeet canceled himself on Twitter, he was involved in an investigation set in place by the LAPD after it was reported by a paparazzo that Kanye had struck him and a fellow troll, paparazzi, one night at LAX. When Kanye got off a plane, he was being photographed by numerous photographers. So many people were surrounding him. One man named Daniel Ramos was particularly close to Kanye, and he did not appreciate Dan getting in his personal space. A video shows Kanye rushing at Ramos and attempting to grab his camera. Ultimately, the LAPD decided not to press any charges, but the case was referred to a city attorney who filed misdemeanor charges against the rapper. This wasn't the first time that this type of thing had happened to Mr. Yee. In 2008, he was involved in a similar confrontation with another paparazzo. The rapper smashed his camera and was subsequently arrested on charges of felony, and on top of a few smaller charges that forced him to serve 50 hours of community service. Number 8, Britney Spears. As many know, Britney began a downward spiral health-wise in 2007. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, she not only shaved her head, but she went on a rage-fueled rampage across the city, taking down anyone in her path, like Godzilla or something. After being swarmed by photographers at a gas station in LA, she went on a rampage, wielding an umbrella and swinging it at them over and over, and even hitting one of their cars, smashing the window. She also hurled expletives at anyone and everyone who had a camera, eventually launching her umbrella towards the crowd. This was the main incident that landed her in a psychiatric hold, but the paparazzi captured every single moment of it on camera, so the only thing the world saw of her for a bit was this mess. Let's hope she's doing better now. Number 7, Hugh Grant. When people see Hugh Grant, they think rom-com sweetheart, the bad guy from Dungeons and Dragons, or soon it's gonna be Oompa Loompa. It's just a creepy image, just don't watch that trailer. But anybody with the news in 2008 remembers him as a bean waster. A paparazzo named Ian Whitaker was following Hugh around his neighborhood, trying to snap as many quality pics as possible. Grant noticed him and walked over to ask him to leave. I'm just kidding, he walked over and started kicking the heck out of him. 3 times to be more specific, before he literally kneed him in the groin. He then picked up and opened a family-sized can of baked beans and just chucked it at Ian like he was launching a nade into the battlefield. He then stood over the photographer like a freaking Bond villain and he asked him, "Do you have any children?" And when he said yes, Grant said something that I'm not allowed to say on the internet. It was just that messed up. He's scary. Police were eventually called to his home where he was arrested and charged with, well, he physically kneed a guy. So it was in the most sensitive area ever. If anything, they should have taken him to jail forever. That hurts so much. Number 6, Will Smith. That's right, Will Smith is on this list for slapping someone, but it's not Chris Rock. I just figured we all know about that one. Hey, it's why he was canceled. What are we talking about today? Oh yeah, an incident on the red carpet that left one paparazzo with a big red mark on his face. Will was walking the red carpet at his Men in Black 3 premiere, giving people interviews when a Ukrainian comedian named Vitaly Sejik approached him. A man who is unfortunately famous for being an absolutely disgusting person towards celebrities. He pretended to be a reporter and he began interviewing Will Smith. He suddenly pulled himself towards Smith and he tried to kiss him on the cheek in his mouth, and Will obviously shoved him back and gave him a little, hey bud, what the just a little backhand to the face, nothing major, and then he was gone. A team of security following Mr. Smith picked this guy up and carried him away like the little toddler that he was. Who knew Will was practicing for his Oscar slap all the way back then? Number 5, Justin Bieber. Justin is no stranger to the paparazzi. They basically filmed every terrible moment of his adolescence so that he can just go online, Google himself, and cry whenever he wants. Back in 2013, the Biebs was on tour in London when the paparazzi caught wind of his location. They followed him around the city everywhere he went. One day, Justin was trying to get into his SUV when a paparazzo yelled something at him. Probably something gross and rude. Honestly, the video I watched was a little muffled, so who knows? You know how the paparazzi are though. Bieber was about to close the door shut, but he opened it back up and he took a swing and said, "Hey, what'd you say, man? What'd you say? I'll beat the F out of you." And he looked like a child doing it. It's not a great move, but it was understandable as the camera person clearly made contact with Justin before spouting whatever nonsense they were spouting. The photographer tried to press charges, but the cops were just kind of like, excuse me, mate, that's Justin Bieber. What's the point? Unfortunately for the Biebs, memes were becoming very popular in the early 2010s. Thousands of Photoshop pictures were spread across the internet, and Justin cemented himself as a paparazzi go-to, because they were like, he's easy to gaslight, let's do it. Number 4, Sean Penn. This is an older entry, but it's still worth talking about because it's kind of neat. Shortly before his marriage to Madonna in 1985, Sean Penn noticed a helicopter hovering around his Malibu beach home. Once he realized that it was filled with paparazzi trying to snap pictures of him, Sean took matters into his own hands. He walked down to the beach and carved a message out in 20-foot letters that said, "Forget you." Remember that song? Nah, I'm just kidding. It said, "Fuck you." If that wasn't enough of a message for them, he decided to double down by grabbing his personal safety bang bang and fired it into the air. According to guests at their home at the time, Sean came back and said, "I would be very excited to see one of those choppers crash and burn." This guy sounds like a James Bond bad guy. Seriously, he could team up with the other dude. "I would very much enjoy watching you burn, Mr. Bond." This wasn't the first or last time that Sean would get a little bit extreme with the paparazzi. At least those guys were in a helicopter. In 2008, Sean reportedly kicked and punched a paparazzo who was trying to snap pictures outside of a hotel that he was staying at in Beverly Hills. Apparently, the guy went through his trash to get the information on where he was, so got what he deserved. People blasted Sean for being physical, but come on, if someone popped up at your house after finding your information in a trash can, wouldn't you want to kick them too? Number 3, Tobey Maguire. Ever since he first squeezed his face into our lives in the original live-action Spider-Man franchise, Tobey has been seen as a quiet man who gives off a calm uncle vibe. As such, he's been casted in many roles following Spider-Man that leaned into that tendency. You know, Nick Carraway in the film Great Gatsby, and well, that's about the best example I've got. However, as the years went on and paparazzi began swarming Tobey at every opportunity, he's been pegged as an angry man who just hates having his picture being taken. In one video that has since gone viral, Tobey is swarmed by the paparazzi while trying to drive out of a parking lot in LA. He yells at the paparazzi to move after he had politely asked them to, accidentally slamming a door into a cameraman in frustration. Since then, anyone with a camera is seen as a threat to Tobey, so much so that he will either give you the most horrifying glare of your life if he sees you taking a picture of him, or he'll just straight up take your camera away. Like, how mean can you be just to snap someone's phone out of their hand? If you did it with a web though, that would be a different story. Number 2, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman is a wonderful actor, but apparently she does not make a good caution cone. In 2013, she was trying to enter the Carlyle Hotel in Manhattan after returning home from a Calvin Klein show at New York Fashion Week. You know, just your average Tuesday. Suddenly, a notorious paparazzo crashed into Nicole going full speed on his bicycle. In the video, it looks like he tries to make a half-hearted attempt to stop himself, but like, get off the sidewalk, dude! It's not called the side bike! I'm sorry, if I write it, I have to read it. Freelance photographer Carl Wu was lucky this time. Despite knocking her to the ground and her threatening to press charges, the police decided not to arrest him and instead issued a ticket for riding his bike on the sidewalk. They said an accident's an accident, but this dude was literally holding a massive camera and trying to take pictures of Nicole while he was riding a bike. If I jog into someone I was staring down while holding a battle axe, is that an accident or just a clever way to get revenge on the guy who cut me off at No Frills? It was my turn! Nicole walked away with no injuries, and it was revealed that this was not Carl's first interaction with celebrities in such an outlandish way. He ran into Lady Gaga at an awards show the year before, behaving inappropriately to say the least. A Tumblr page was made for Carl called FU Carl Wu, and there is a word that you haven't heard in a bit. Tumblr. In 2023, that's the name of those fancy adult sippy cups. And at number 1, Leonardo DiCaprio. Capping off our list is the Wolf of Wall Street himself, Mr. Leonardo DiCaprio. Leo's had a few run-ins with paparazzi over the years. In fact, in 2014, he fell victim to that Ukrainian prankster that tried to kiss Will Smith. Only this time, the guy decided to snuggle up to Leo's nether regions. But he actually handled that situation pretty well. He laughed it off, and I swear he's mouthing the words, "I love this guy." Well, that guy got tossed out like a napkin, and it's not why he's on this list. The year before, Leo was on his way to meet up with his Wolf of Wall Street co-star Jonah Hill for lunch, when he decided to pull a little pranky poo on Jonah. He ran up to him with his phone, screaming like a crazy fan, and it only took Jonah 2 seconds to realize what was going on, but according to him, his Wolf of Wall Street buddy basically gave him a heart attack. He was beyond scared. When the news found out that tiny piece of information that Jonah was a little scared, the paparazzi blew it up into Leo almost takes out Jonah Hill. There was way too much of a scandal caused from what was just a light-hearted, fun moment between friends.
Celebrity gossip goes far on the internet, but when a cheating scandal breaks, oh, everyone is going to know about it. And in case you missed it, here are some of the most explosive cheating scandals ever. Starting off, we have Ariana Grande. Singer, songwriter, and actress Ariana Grande married Dalton Gomez in May 2021, but just after 2 years of marriage, Ariana and Dalton called it quits. In July 2023, a source told People that the pair separated earlier in the year and have been quietly and lovingly working on their friendship since. Now, just days before their split was announced, Ariana was seen without her engagement ring and her wedding band. Ariana officially filed for divorce from Dalton in September 2023, with him filing a response immediately following. But it has been revealed that the reason for the divorce was that Ariana cheated on Dalton with her Wicked co-star, Ethan Slater. But here's the thing, Ethan was also married and had a child. His now ex-wife Lily, who's since been openly critical of Ari, apparently visited Ethan on the Wicked set in April with their infant son. The following month, Ethan gushed about her in a Mother's Day Instagram post, but by July 26, he had officially filed for divorce. Now, their timeline is a little more messy, but there was definitely some infidelity involved here. Now, this has had the internet up in arms about Ariana now dating SpongeBob, as Ethan played him in the live-action musical. Up next is Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson has cheated on Khloe Kardashian many times, so here's a brief synopsis of their relationship. In 2016, Khloe and Tristan started dating, and in spring of 2018, Khloe and Tristan were getting ready to welcome their first child together when photos and videos were released of him kissing other women. A couple days after the reports came out, Khloe welcomed their daughter True, but then TMZ then posted a video from earlier in October 2017 that appeared to show Tristan kissing 2 other women at a hookah lounge. More cheating allegations surfaced from there, including in January 2019 when it was revealed that Tristan had kissed Kylie Jenner's close friend, Jordan Woods. It was then confirmed that Tristan and Khloe were dating again in August 2020, and they called it quits again in June 2021. Now, in December 2021, news broke that Tristan was involved in a paternity suit with personal personal trainer, Marley Nichols, and in January 2022, he revealed he was the father. Now in July that year, multiple sources confirmed that Khloe and Tristan were expecting another child with the help of a surrogate. Now the surrogate was already pregnant with the child when the news broke of Tristan's paternity scandal. Now they kept the pregnancy a secret as long as they could to protect Khloe, and after the child was born, it seems like they are co-parenting but not together. Khloe gave him so many chances and he took advantage of that, and I truly hope that she doesn't give him another one, because at this point it's just sad. On to Adam Levine. In 2012, Adam Levine began dating Behati Prinsloo, and they married in 2014, and in September 2022, it was reported that they were expecting their third child together. But shortly after, Instagram model Sumner Stroh posted a TikTok video claiming that she had an affair with Adam that lasted for about a year. Screenshots and video recordings were used as proof, and in one screenshot, Adam was seen asking for permission to use her first name for his unborn child, which is just insane. Now Adam denied cheating, but from the screenshots of the messages going around, it's pretty clear that he was. The day after the allegations, Adam took to Instagram to say that he messed up, he didn't have an affair, but that he crossed a line. Since then, two additional women, Alison Rosef and Markea, later came forward with screenshots of flirty messages the singer had sent them, and a third woman, his former yoga teacher, accused him of texting her that he wanted to spend the day with her naked. Now a fourth woman came out as well, and she told the Daily Mail that he would like and comment on her fitness stories, usually about her having the best butt in town. Now this story was everywhere and the whole internet turned against Adam. Then there's Ned Fulmer. One of the members of the internet group The Try Guys was exposed for cheating on his wife in late 2022. Ned Fulmer was the I love my wife guy, but in September 2022 he was exposed as a cheater. TikTokers posted photo evidence of what appeared to be Ned kissing one of his producers, Alex Herring. A fan also posted an Instagram photo with her and Ned, captioning it that she saw Ned and Alex together at a Harry Styles concert at the beginning of September. Rumors and proof were gathered, and later near the end of September, Ned confirmed that he had cheated on his wife, publicly apologized, and then got kicked out of the Try Guys. Now the affair had been going on for a while, as after all of this was exposed, another TikToker came forward saying that she spotted Ned kissing another woman and that she had some videos and photos of them. She said she messaged Ned's wife Ariel to make her aware, but Ariel never saw the messages. Let's talk about Gerard Piqué. In June 2022, it was reported that Shakira had recently dumped her partner of more than a decade, Gerard Piqué, after she caught him with another woman. The singer and the soccer star, who share two sons, soon confirmed their split, though they kept mum on the infidelity allegations. Now that changed in January 2023 though, when Shakira released a diss track that included lyrics taking shot at Gerard and his new girlfriend, who's 12 years younger than him. "You're acting so weird, I don't even recognize you. I'm worth two 22-year-olds, Shakira sings. Now she then went on to insult his intelligence, but there is more. Reports also surfaced claiming Shakira was clued into the cheating because she returned home after a trip to discover that someone had eaten some of the jam she kept in the fridge in the home she shared with Gerard. He and their sons all hated jam, so it had to be someone else who ate it, and that was the girl he cheated on her with. Now that's a pretty good way to find out that someone is cheating on you. All I gotta say is iconic. Moving on to Amy Robach and TJ Holmes. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes were co-hosts of Good Morning America 3, What You Need to Know, and they had worked together since TJ joined the show in the year 2020. Now at the end of 2022, the Daily Mail published photos of the co-workers taken across several outings, from getting drinks at a New York City bar to loading up a car at a cottage upstate. It was confirmed that they were cheating on their significant others. Now neither of the broadcasters immediately addressed the photos or revealed whether they had split from their respective spouses. Now TJ had been married to his wife for 12 years, and Amy was married to her husband for 12 years as well. Now in January 2023, the couple decided to walk away from their positions as co-anchors after being caught in their affair scandal. Interestingly enough though, in December 2023, it was reported that their former spouses spouses were dating each other. Now that is just a strange twist to this story. Now we have Tom Sandoval. Us confirmed in March 2023 that Tom and Ariana Madix split after nearly 10 years together after he cheated with their Vanderpump Rules co-star Raquel Leviss. Apparently Ariana learned about the affair when Tom and his band performed one of his new music singles live. Tom and Raquel visited his hometown of St. Louis in December 2022, but not to the knowledge of Ariana. Tom reportedly wanted to bring Raquel around his friends and family, though some declined to spend time with them and thought that the situation was inappropriate. He then posted an apology to his Instagram page saying, "I want to first and foremost apologize to everyone I've hurt through this process. Most of all, I want to apologize to Ariana. I made mistakes, I was selfish, and made reckless decisions that hurt somebody I love. No one deserves to feel that pain so traumatically and publicly. I can only imagine how devastating this has been for Ariana and everyone around us. I feel really horrible about that. My biggest regret is I dishonored Ariana. I never meant to disappoint so many people, including our loving families and friends." Afterwards, there was the explosive Vanderpump Rules reunion, and it was just a big, huge yelling match. Now we have David Letterman. Late night show host David Letterman admitted to having an affair during a taping of Late Night. David had only been married to his wife for 6 months and together for over 20 years when he admitted to being intimate with women who worked with him on air, specifically his longtime assistant Stephanie Burkett. The affair came to light when Stephanie's boyfriend Joe Halderman, a producer at CBS, allegedly tried to extort David for $2 million in exchange for his silence. David got ahead of him though, setting up a sting with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which resulted in Joe's arrest. CBS issued a statement regarding the investigation and David's decision to speak out on the show, saying Mr. Letterman addressed the issue during the show's broadcast last night, and we believe his comments speak for themselves. Now to this day, David is still married to his wife. Next up is Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner first met on the set of the 2000 movie Pearl Harbor, but were in separate relationships at the time. Ben was engaged to Jennifer Lopez, and they were supposed to be married in 2003, but in 2004 they called off their engagement. Now Jennifer Garner was married to Scott Foley for 4 years, who she divorced in 2003. The pair then started a relationship and got married in 2005. They had 3 children and a perfect family until their nanny, Christine Azoyan, claimed that she and Ben had an affair. In 2015, sources told Page 6, amid reports of Ben's gambling and alleged cheating with other women, that the pair had drifted apart and had been in professional therapy for years. Now their split was announced a day after their 10th wedding anniversary, and they finalized their divorce in 2018, but remain on good terms. Now in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer had confirmed Ben's affair with the nanny. And lastly we have Kristen Stewart. In 2012, photos of Kristen Stewart kissing Rupert Sanders, the director of her movie Snow White and the Huntsman, were released and caused a frenzy. Now at the time, she was famously in a relationship with her Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson, while Rupert was married to his wife since 2002, model Liberty Ross. After the photos were released, both Kristen and Rupert released their own statements. Kristen said, "I'm deeply sorry for the hurt and embarrassment I've caused to those close to me and everyone this has affected. This momentary indiscretion has jeopardized the most important thing in my life, the person I love and respect the most, Rob. I love him, I'm so sorry." Now they broke up and got back together multiple times, but they broke up for good in May 2013. This broke the hearts of Twilight fans everywhere, and I can't imagine how Rob felt having to work with her still after all of this happened.
Celebrities leaving projects usually means nothing, but sometimes it does. Contaminating food, possibly intentional wardrobe malfunctions, and committing fraud are just a few reasons celebrities have been removed from the picture. Here are the top 10 dark celebrity scandals that got them fired. Starting off with a recent major celebrity scandal, what Diddy did. He wasn't very nice, and he is now paying the price. Since all the people he hurt have come forward, his career has greatly suffered. Capital Prep Harlem, a tuition-free school Diddy co-founded, cut ties with him in November of last year. Then Diddy stepped down as chairman of the Revolt TV, and TMZ reports that he has sold off all his shares of that company. The Hulu series Diddy and his family were supposed to get was scrapped. Peloton stopped using his music for classes. 18 brands left Diddy's online marketplace, Empower Global, and Diddy's glasses line was pulled from stores, and that was also probably the first time many people found out he even had a glasses line. Point is, Diddy is finally finally getting what's coming to him. Colleen Ballinger managed to destroy her career in the time it would take someone to perform a self-written song on the ukulele. I know that's a really specific measure of time, but that was what she actually did. Ballinger was a very popular YouTuber from about 2010 to 2023. She also had a Netflix special, and her YouTube was mainly known for posting videos using the character Miranda Sings, a satire of bad singers with big egos, and I hope the irony is not lost here. The character was incredibly popular and her career took off. Her audience was mainly younger, and she did not always behave well with these younger fans. As early as 2020, allegations were coming out about Colleen creating inappropriate relationship with her fans, but everything really came crashing down in 2023. More allegations were coming out, screenshots were being shared, and pretty soon Colleen's live gigs and guest appearances were being cancelled left and right. Colleen decided the best way to address this very serious situation was to defend herself on the most unserious instrument, the ukulele. Why did she choose to sing? I'm so glad you asked. She revealed that she was advised by her team to not speak on the issue, but they didn't say she couldn't sing. The video wasn't received well, of course. A few months later, she posted a speaking apology for the song, but people were pretty much done with her at that point. Her audience has since shrunk and her career likely won't recover. Ariana Grande suspiciously dropped out of performing a concert just a few days before. She said it was for medical reasons, but at the time she was being investigated by police, so many wonder if she was actually telling the truth. I am of course referring to Donutgate. For anyone who is confused out of their mind, Donutgate refers to a 2015 incident where Ariana Grande was caught saying, "I hate America," before licking donuts off a tray and putting them back. The cashier working at the donut shop confirmed that Ariana did not buy anything she licked and was a bit rude. This is 100% real, and Ariana Grande was investigated by Riverside County public health officials and Lake Elsinore police. She was nearly cancelled for this. She had to issue 2 separate apologies. It was serious. She was set to perform at the free concert for the Major League Baseball All-Star game that year, but pulled out a few days before. Reps said it was because she got her wisdom teeth out, but many people were skeptical because the Donutgate controversy was such a big deal. Ariana's defense for her actions was just as bizarre as the action itself. She first clarified that she is a proud American, and then went on to talk about how she is an advocate for eating well and how she is upset that sometimes Americans will consume things without thought to the consequences of their health. She also claimed she was frustrated with the high obesity rate in the US. I guess her licking the icing off donuts she didn't pay for is her way of helping out. Completely bizarre situation, but also deeply hilarious. The biggest pop culture scandal of the next year, 2016, has got to be the Taylor Swift, Kanye West, Kim K leaked phone call. Quick recap: Kanye releases the song Famous, says some questionable things about Taylor Swift after the pair has just rekindled a friendship after feuding for years. Taylor said she never approved being called the B word. Kim releases a private phone call between Kanye and Taylor that was edited to make it seem like Taylor was lying, and then everyone turned on Taylor. Taylor's comment sections were flooded with snake emojis, and she was bullied online to the point where she felt she couldn't show her face in public for almost a year. It wasn't until much later that it came out Taylor was actually telling the truth the whole time. Still, that year where Taylor felt she had to disappear likely led to the star missing out on lots of opportunities. It happened right as she was hitting her career peak for that time, since it was right around the massive success that was 1989. Some Swifties even claim an album was supposed to be released that year and couldn't be due to the scandal. Though it was a rough period for the singer, it resulted later in a fan favorite album and era, Reputation. So there was something good that came out of all that pain, and now of course Taylor is totally fine and flying around the world for her successful Eras tour. Miley is now back in the game and winning Grammys, but she once lost out on a Vogue cover due to a scandalous VMAs performance. The Hannah Montana star made such a major shift in image, a shift that was much more mature and over the top than anything anyone had seen from her, and that change came with some wild actions on her part. Miley's performance at the 2013 MTV Video Music Awards with Robin Thicke was unforgettable and many said inappropriate. Miley performed with a nude set on, so if you weren't looking at her very closely, you might think she was unclothed, but that wasn't the thing that people had the biggest raised issue with during the performance. The big controversy was what Miley did with the foam finger she was performing with. The star made movements with it that are usually not supposed to happen on live TV. The inventor of an early version of the foam finger weighed in, saying Cyrus took an honorable icon that is seen in sporting venues everywhere and degraded it. It took a while after the incident for Cyrus's career to recover. At the time, she was reported to have been fired from her upcoming Vogue cover shoot. Years later, she is back on top of the world and winning Grammys though. The downfall of Ellen will go down in daytime talk show history. Who could have guessed? Actually, no, that's not the truth. Ellen would cause so much trouble. Dakota Johnson visited the Ellen set that day for what was supposed to be a routine interview, but left, setting Ellen's career on fire. In the interview, the conversation between Johnson and Ellen DeGeneres shifts to Johnson's recent birthday party. Ellen is getting on her case for not receiving an invitation, only that wasn't true. Dakota was quick to point out that Ellen was in fact invited and that she even made a point to invite Ellen. It was awkward, but the conversation eventually shifted. However, after this moment, people started looking at Ellen with a magnifying glass. They started noticing how she would subtly insult guests, make guests uncomfortable to the point of crying, and scare guests that expressed they did not want to be scared. Then stories from people that worked on the Ellen show started coming out. People were claiming that the talk show host was not as kind as she claimed to be. Pretty soon, Ellen lost all public favor, her show was cancelled, and she hasn't made any major appearances since. Kanye West's fall from grace has been years in the making. While West has created some truly incredible music, his actions outside the studio are less than admirable. Between his comments about Taylor Swift to his controversial famous music video, statements he has made about history, his failed presidential campaign, and more, it's not hard to see why he is no longer receiving many opportunities in the spotlight. He is still releasing music, of course, but even that isn't going super well. It wasn't allowed to be released on Apple Music due to some legal troubles. He put his album on there anyway, and it was actually pulled down shortly after. Throughout the past few years, Kanye's behavior has led to major brands like Adidas, Balenciaga, United Talent Agency, and more to part ways with the performer. The scandal that came after Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl performance left Janet Jackson's career in shambles, while Timberlake walked away with barely a scratch. During their halftime performance, Janet was supposed to do a big costume reveal. All Timberlake had to do was rip off a piece of her shirt to reveal a bralette. However, he accidentally ripped off everything, and Jackson's bare chest was exposed to the thousands of fans in the stadium and millions watching at home. The scandal after was worse than the actual event. Jackson took all the heat for the mistake, and Justin managed to pretty much walk free. Janet Jackson later went on to tell the public what was supposed to happen, that her goal wasn't to expose herself to all of America, but lots of people just didn't believe her. Jackson's music was blacklisted from radio stations, her career took a major hit, and has never fully recovered. She told USA Today that the situation was truly embarrassing. People are still divided about whether or not this whole thing was planned or not years later. One major Hollywood producer is now being held accountable for his actions singer Courtney Love was warning us about years ago. Love hit the red carpet in 2005 and joined Comedy Central for an interview. The interviewer asked the singer, "Do you have any advice for a young girl moving to Hollywood?" Love seemed unsure on how to respond at first, but then chose to become one of the first people to warn us about the major producer. She responded, I'll get libeled if I say it. If major producer invites you to a party in the Four Seasons, don't go. Of course, it would be many years later that said man would be held accountable for what happened at those parties, and people to this day look back on this interview wondering how he didn't take Love's warning seriously. Love at the time was treated very poorly after this moment. She claims she was banned from the creative arts agency and lost out on many jobs. In the present day, she has received a lot of love since all the accusations have come out, and is regarded as one of the first people that attempted to expose the disgusting behavior. The college admissions scandal was and still is huge and messy. Lori Loughlin was one of the celebrities caught in the middle of it all, since she allegedly used financial means to ensure her daughter would have a spot at the University of Southern California. This all happened 5 years ago, and it feels like it was yesterday. Lori and her husband allegedly spent about $500,000 to guarantee her daughter's spot. Loughlin is known for frequently appearing in media produced by Crown Media, the parent company of Hallmark. And I do mean frequently. She was a staple actress for them. Her most popular role being on the drama series When Calls the Heart. As a When Calls the Heart fan, this situation was devastating. Not only was Lori dropped from all projects affiliated with the company, her and her husband ended up pleading guilty in 2020 and headed to jail.
Blake Lively, Joaquin Phoenix, J-Lo, and so many more folks have been canceled this year. So Justin Baldoni did try to put chatter of a feud with Blake Lively to bed after the rumor mill went into overdrive about the potential tension between the pair earlier this year. The rumors began following the New York City premiere of their film, It Ends With Us, when fans noticed that the two weren't posing together on the red carpet. Well, Blakely was photographed with her husband Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and nobody knows why he was on the red carpet, and her co-stars Jenny Slate and Brandon Sklenar. Justin was seen appearing on the red carpet solo, maybe on occasion with his wife. Now, fans of Blake Lively noticed she wasn't following him on Instagram. Actually, none of the cast members were. Now, obviously an Instagram follow isn't exactly concrete evidence, but it does raise eyebrows when you're trying to promote a film. In an interview with Entertainment Tonight, Justin said that Blake should direct a sequel to the film, saying, and I quote, "I think Blake Lively's right to direct. That's what I think." There was another interview where he talked about working with complex personalities on set, saying every movie is a miracle, and then of course you're navigating complex personalities and trying to get everybody on the same page with the same vision, and mistakes are always made, and then you figure out how to move past them. Blake Lively dodged a question about building trust with Baldoni as a scene partner. She said, this movie was such a challenge because you have scenes that are deeply painful and traumatic and physical, but you also have scenes that are full of levity and light and romance. And normally when I see this type of character on screen, you know what's gonna happen, and you're like, oh, that guy's full of red flags. Now, Blake was a co-executive producer on the movie, and she revealed that Ryan Reynolds wrote a pivotal scene of the film, which ruh-roh. She said, oh yeah, the iconic rooftop scene, my husband actually wrote it. Nobody knows, but now you do. She's like, oh yeah, he works in everything I do, I work in everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine and mine are his. Well, sure. Yeah. All of this painted Blake Lively in a negative light as she promoted the movie also as a romantic comedy and not what it really was. In an interview, she was asked what she would say if anyone out in the public were to talk to her about the issues the movie shows, and she's like, oh, it'd be like asking for my address, my phone number, or my location share. You're talking about a film with heavy subject matter, and why are you not discussing the heavy subject matter? A lot of folks said that she was out of touch, and it created a lot of negative discussion, saying that Blake Lively ignored the domestic harm issue that the movie features, focused on her own personal gains. She was also promoting her hair care line at the same time as the premiere, which received some negative criticism, and rightfully so. No matter how much Jennifer Lopez tries to stay out of drama, the fashionista seems to be constantly taking the blame for other people's struggles. Most recently, the passing of a TikToker, Kyle Marissa Roth, is being pinned on J-Lo. And the story is interesting, albeit sad. So the content creator sadly lost her life on April 15th after a battle with colon cancer. And a lot of folks on social media were quick to point fingers at J-Lo. So on her TikTok page, Roth shared celebrity gossip content, sometimes posting about Jenny from the block. And according to past videos, J-Lo's negative reaction to this had a direct impact on her income, particularly after Roth's account was banned after she used footage from the multi-talents film about growing up in the Bronx, the greatest love story never told. The late entertainer said that Lopez's narcissism single-handedly crushed her small business, leaving her unable to download or save content that had gotten her billions of views, saying J-Lo has cost me more than 4 figures of income just from March 2024, Roth alleged after making a new account. Losing out on money is hard for anyone, but she mentioned that she passed away of colon cancer, it's on her. She said that a week before she passed away. Little ominous. Dave Grohl has experienced his fair share of relationship drama while in the public eye, including multiple cheating scandals. So, snowboarder Tina Bassick dated Grohl for 2 years in the 90s. Following their split, she alleged that he was seeing another woman during the relationship, and she recalled him being busy while they dated. She wrote about this in her 2003 memoir, Pretty Good for a Girl, the autobiography of a snowboarding pioneer. She cited his career as a point of contention between them. Despite trying to get details from Dave Grohl, the athlete wrote that he told her nothing and broke things off. She's like, all I got was a 5-minute phone call from him after 5 weeks of me calling and trying to get a hold of him because I just had to know if these rumors were true and I had to hear it straight from the source. So the Foo Fighters rocker has been married twice, and he has stepped outside of his marriage both times. He and first wife Jennifer Lee Youngblood married in 1994, and he said, when I met my wife, we went out on a few dates, I decided I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, so I just stopped calling. After 3 months, I had a revelation and called her back. She picked up the phone and said, oh, I thought I'd never hear from you again. The pair finalized their divorce in 1997 after he admitted to infidelity. He moved on and tied the knot with current wife Jordan Bloom in 2003. They share 3 daughters, Violet, Harper, and Ophelia. But in September of 2024, the singer admitted to cheating once again, revealing that he had fathered a daughter outside of his marriage in an Instagram statement. I think most folks have moved on a little too quickly from all the awful stuff Joaquin Phoenix has done in recent history. Most notably when he dropped out of a gay romance film just 5 days before filming was set to start in Mexico after just getting cold feet over the project. So he was set to play an on-screen lover opposing Danny Ramirez in this 1930s. Joaquin Phoenix developed the screenplay for the detective love story with Haynes and John Raymond, with a source saying the actor had trepidation over the project amid rumors he was uncomfortable with the film's graphic scenes, although other sources counteract that he's the one who brought the project to the director initially. Haynes told Variety in September 2023 that Joaquin began creating the film with fragments of ideas. Basically, it was just this wonderful, organic way to create the script, and Joaquin was the one pushing it further into more dangerous territory, specifically of that nature. The film was set to be rated NC-17 and feature a relationship that would challenge audiences. Entire sets had been built before he exited the film. So this film kind of hinged on his casting. It had already been pitched to international distributors. His role cannot be recast. The crew is out of work and stakeholders still need paying. That's not getting cold feet, my dude. That's putting an entire team of hardworking people out of work and also harming the chances of more risky projects in this vein getting the necessary support that they'll need in the future. Brooke Schofield has issued an apology after resurfaced tweets showed the influencer defending George Zimmerman over the passing of Trayvon Martin. The TikTok star, who co-hosts the popular Canceled podcast with Tana Mojo, shared a nearly 4-minute video on August 3rd where she addressed the very insensitive tweets that she posted between 2012 to 2015. In a clip, a tearful Brooke described her past opinions as disturbing, wrong, horrible, and disgusting. She attempted to explain her mindset at the time that she made the tweets, noting that she was living with her grandparents, and she said that, as is true for a lot of grandparents, they're a bit less progressive than a lot of us are now. She said that her grandfather was a right-wing conservative, and the only thing that she had ever been exposed to were conservative political commentators and news outlets. She said that she still should have known better. She mentioned that sometimes you have these people that you put on a pedestal, and you think everybody older than you is smarter than you and knows everything, and they do not. She acknowledged that it wasn't until after college that she began to shift her way of thinking. She apologized for not addressing the tweets sooner. She explained that she thought it would cause more harm to bring them to light again. And she said, "I'm very, very sorry to anybody who was hurt by the tweets because obviously they are very hurtful." And that's all for today, folks. See you next time.
Coming in number 10 today, we have Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian. On April 11, 2018, photos of Tristan Thompson would start to circulate online where it would show him cheating on his then 9-month pregnant girlfriend, Khloe Kardashian. And just like that, we all guessed things would make a turn for the worse. TMZ would then post a video from October 2017 that showed Tristan kissing 2 other women at a club. Despite all the cheating rumors, Tristan was with Khloe for the birth of their child, as seen on an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The two would then remain a couple and would end up fully getting back together. However, in February 2019, Tristan truly wasn't to give up his ways, as reports would start to surface again that Khloe Kardashian and Tristan had split because he had cheated on her, and this time with a close friend of the family, Kylie Jenner's bestest friend and roommate, Jordan Woods. When anonymous party attendees told TMZ that Tristan and Jordan were spotted throughout the night being all over each other and making out, Jordan's actions would become the ultimate betrayal to the family. Tristan and Khloe, however, would reconcile again, but they would appear to break up for good not so long after a paternity scandal involving Tristan and another woman broke. This would happen around the same time Tristan and Khloe were expecting another child together as well. Number 9, Cardi B and Offset. After 3 years of marriage, Cardi B would file for a divorce from Offset after rumors started to circulate that he had cheated on her. While Cardi would make the decision to call off the divorce and get back together with Offset, this cheating scandal would definitely ruin Hollywood, and the cheating rumors haven't exactly gone away. It all started when Tekashi's 6ix9ine girlfriend shared a flirty DM that Offset had sent her on Instagram. Cardi would then reveal that Offset's Instagram got hacked when the DM was sent, and it wasn't really from him. In her Vogue interview, Cardi confirmed Offset cheated on her, and she would say, "When me and my husband got into our issues, you know, he cheated and everything, and I decided to stay with him and work together with him. A lot of people were so mad at me. A lot of women felt disappointed in me. While it seems like trolls don't want to see Cardi and Offset end up together, there still continues to be cheating rumors surrounding the couple. With the latest rumor claiming that Offset had cheated on Cardi with Saweetie, Cardi has been forced to clap back by saying, "No baby, you lying. You're making crazy lies," and stating it and putting female rappers in it with no receipts. No blog ever spoke on this, and all of a sudden you come out of jail 5 days ago and you made up a lie in 2 hours with no receipts. And honestly, I just think everybody just needs to leave Cardi and Offset alone already. Hey my little peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Beyonce and Jay-Z. When Beyonce released her much anticipated album Lemonade, she put a spotlight onto her marriage with Jay-Z, and since there has been so much speculation about who Becky with the good hair is, that it's even become a major meme. While the duo was pretty quiet about whether Lemonade was based on their marriage, it wasn't until 2017 that we would know that it was the truth when Jay-Z released his album 444, which was full of apologies to Beyonce and to their daughter Blue. He would also open up in an interview with David Letterman about how his infidelities nearly destroyed their marriage and how he has done work to repair their union. Jay-Z would say, "Much like you, I have a beautiful wife who was understanding and who knew that I'm not the worst of what I've done, and who did the work of going to therapy, and really, we love each other. We put in the work." While Jay-Z has recently continued to grow into the proud father and husband he is today, it's been pretty outstanding to see. Number 7, Kevin Hart and Anuka Parrish. The story of Kevin Hart's infidelity is confusing at best. When he first denied the cheating scandal in July of 2017, he would then post a video on his Instagram apologizing with the caption, "Sending so many apologies to my wife and kids. I gotta do better, and I will. I'm not perfect, and I have never claimed to be. I love you all." It would later also be revealed that Hart was at the center of an alleged extortion attempt, as someone allegedly was in possession of a video that showed Kevin engaging with another woman that wasn't his wife, and they were trying to expose Kevin in an attempt so they could receive some money. It wouldn't be until Kevin had an interview with The Breakfast Club where he would finally admit to his cheating. When Hart finally decided to speak about the scandal that happened on a 2020 podcast, he would go on to say when Anuka Parrish found out about the situation, it wasn't exactly a walk in the park for the comedian, but when she finally came to the conclusion of it, Hart would say, "I like the fact we have a family, that we have a household, and I like the fact we now got a job to do better. That's what you owe me. You owe me to get better." Number 6, Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith. Though the Smiths themselves wouldn't call it a scandal, the rest of the world would be shocked when August Alsina spoke about a relationship he had with Jada Pinkett Smith during an interview in June 2020. August would say, "I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, and I truly and really deeply love and have a ton of love for her." He would then go on to claim that Will knew about the relationship and gave August and Jada his blessing. Naturally, people were shocked that the Smiths are one of the longest lasting and famous Hollywood couples in recent history. First, the couple issued a quick statement denying the relationship, but then Jada would announce on her Twitter that she was taking herself to the red table. In July of 2020, the Smiths would sit down at the red table to discuss their relationship, and they would speak about a dark period of their marriage when they thought they were going to separate and never speak again. That's when Jada and August started their relationship. While Will did deny giving August permission, he did know that the two were seeing each other. When August and Jada's relationship finally came to an end, Will and her decided to try to work things out. However, to this day, it seems like Jada tries everything she can to humiliate Will, and I just don't support it. At number 5, we have Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. The Twilight movies are some of the biggest successful films of our time, and while the book was better than the movie, it did steal our hearts. And at the center of the media frenzy, you would find Robert and Kristen making headlines as the two co-stars began a relationship during filming, and fans were completely obsessed. However, all of this would change after the paparazzi released pictures of Christian and Rupert Saunders, who was the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, engaging in some major PDA. And everyone had some major opinions about it. Christian would eventually publicly apologize to Robert, and then the two reconciled for a time, but then eventually broke up. Later, Christian would recall her relationship with Robert and would describe it as being young and stupid. While we wish Kristen and Robert could share their love off screen like Bella and Edward, we all knew her relationship was doomed to come to an end at some point because, let's face it, she really should have chosen Jacob. And I'm gonna stand by that statement. Number 4, Nick Young and Iggy Azalea. Now it all began with a prank war that would be exposed when Nick Young had cheated on Iggy Azalea. When the LA Lakers were involved in a prank war, a video that was recorded by fellow player D'Angelo Russell, the video would eventually be leaked to the public, and it would show Nick Young apparently admitting to cheating on rapper Iggy Azalea. Later, Nick would try to claim that it was all false, and he somehow was able to convince Iggy it was all just one giant rumor, and she ended up continuing on with their relationship. However, it wouldn't be long until Iggy would suddenly tweet that she had dumped Nick because she caught him on a security camera bringing girls into their home. To add more insult to the injury, news would soon start to circulate that Nick was expecting a baby with his ex-girlfriend, Kiona Green, and the baby was definitely conceived while he was still in a relationship with Iggy. Out of all the lows that could have happened, it's kind of funny that Nick thought that he could bring girls into the house and Iggy wouldn't catch him when she watched the surveillance footage. Number 3, Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth. Miley Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth's long-term relationship was a rift filled with cheating rumors. While Liam was accused of straying away multiple times while they were still engaged, news would start to surface that he even got with January Jones while the two were still together. The two would then end up calling things off, but then they would get back together a couple years later, and then they would even find themselves getting married. While the marriage only lasted less than a year, at some point, everyone started to accuse Miley of cheating. Just after a week of the two's devastating breakup, Miley would be forced to address the rumors of her almost 8-month marriage, as well as some of the most scandalous episodes from her past. While Miley has been pretty open and transparent with her fans, she couldn't believe people were accusing her of infidelity. The same day the news broke of their split. On the other hand though, Miley was spotted kissing Caitlyn Carter in Italy. Despite all the rumors about her unfaithfulness, Miley would come out to say the truth is, once Liam and I reconciled, I meant it and I was committed. I can admit to a lot of things, but I refuse to admit that my marriage ended because of cheating. Liam and I have been together for a decade. I've said it before and it remains true. I love Liam and always will. Number 2, Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner. As adorable as they look together, I don't think any of us truly believe Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner were ever meant to be together, as his heart has always belonged to J-Lo. While Ben definitely benefited from Jennifer as a grounding force in his life, they did go on to have 3 amazing kids together, but it's clear that Ben wasn't ready to ever settle down in their relationship, as it was reported that he had cheated on her with the nanny. While Jennifer would say she didn't find out about the affair before the formal couple made the decision to get a divorce, the alleged incident was said to happen before they even came to the final decision that their relationship was over. Later in a conversation with Vanity Fair, Jennifer would confirm that Ben did have an affair with the nanny, as she said, "Let me just tell you something. We had been separated for months before I even heard about the nanny. She had nothing to do with our decision to divorce. She was not a part of the equation," and she elaborated on how she had to deal with it, and she said it wasn't great for her kids to have a nanny disappear from their lives, and that she had to have many conversations with her children about the meaning of the scandal. Still, at the end of the day, Jennifer would open up about how there was no need to attack Ben, as people have pain and they do regrettable things and they feel shame, and shame equals pain. And coming in number 1 today, we have Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston were once a dream couple, and I honestly wish they would get back together because Brad made a huge mistake leaving her for Angelina Jolie. However, even with them being a dream couple, they proved that Disney fairy tales can't come true, as their romance came to a screeching halt when they decided to get divorced in 2005. For years, Brad and Angelina would deny the cheating rumors, and it would come out just after the film Mr. and Mrs. Smith that Brad had fallen in love with Jolie. However, karma had different plans for Brad and Angelina, as their relationship ended up being quite ill-fated as well. In 2020, Brad would finally admit to cheating on Jennifer when he sat down for an interview and apologized to Jennifer by saying, "It grieves me that it was interpreted this way. Jennifer is incredibly giving, loving, and hilarious woman who remains my friend. It is an important relationship I value greatly. The point I was trying to make is not that Jen was dull, but I was becoming dull to myself, and I am responsible for. I, for one, am still a huge shipper of Brad and Jennifer, and if we can see Ben and J-Lo get back together, then maybe we'll just find these two finding themselves back together soon." Well, that's it for this video, my little peaches. Until the next one, remember to stay juicy.
Kim Kardashian is feuding with one of her sisters again. She's been called out by Khloe with her shady Instagram posts, as the pair have been fighting on the new episode of The Kardashians. Now, in the most recent episode of The Kardashians, the sisters clashed over Khloe's parenting, with Kim suggesting that Khloe's 2 kids rule her her life. Now this came about after Khloe turned down a trip to Paris for Fashion Week because she wanted to be home with her kids. Now last week's episode also documented their family vacation to Aspen, which took place in January. On the trip, Kim called out Khloe for FaceTiming her daughter during their group dinner. Now Kim again was annoyed with this. Kim said in a confessional, "Here we go again, she just is so stuck on what's going on at home that she can't have a good time," before later describing Khloe constantly FaceTiming her kids as annoying. Several viewers of the reality show have since called Kim out for shaming Khloe, and fans have actually done the math and figured out that Khloe was seemingly shading Kim on Instagram around the very same time that they were quietly clashing. Now back in January and February, around the same time as the Aspen trip, Khloe shared multiple quotes that are seemingly aimed at Kim. "20 years from now, the only people who'll remember if you worked late are your kids," one quote read. "Raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power," read another. Then in 2007, Kim and her then boyfriend, Ray J tape was leaked online, and it's how Kim rose to fame. Now Kim sued Vivid Entertainment for ownership of the tape. In late April 2007, Kim dropped the suit and settled for $5 million. Now the blame was put on Ray J for releasing the video, but after all these years, Ray J maintains his innocence. He said, "I've sat in the shadows for over 14 years, allowing the Kardashians to use my name, to abuse my name, make billions of dollars over a decade and a half, talking about a topic I've never really spoken about. I've never leaked anything. I've never leaked a tape in my life." Now he claims that Kim and Kris negotiated the release of the tape in the early 2000s. Now Kris apparently watched 3 different Ray J and Kim and chose to leak the one that gave her daughter a better look. Now if that's true, that is just gross. Now Kris Jenner has denied playing a role in getting her daughter tape released and even took a lie detector test on the James Corden show, but Ray J is still adamant that they did help. Now looking back, Ray J said he is embarrassed of the tape. Now Kim's whole relationship with Kris Humphries was something else. They dated for 6 months before they got married. Now Kris wasn't really into all the fame, but Kim wanted it all. Now their relationship made them a lot of money. The reality star was paid $1.5 million by people for their wedding photos alone. They also got $30,000 for their engagement announcement and another massive chunk of cash from both her bridal shower and her honeymoon pictures. Not to mention the bonus check they got from airing their wedding on Keeping Up. Now afterwards though, after 72 days, Kim filed for divorce. Now Kris felt bamboozled and cited fraud as the reason for wanting an annulment. Kim's paperwork stated irreconcilable differences, and she later discussed the marriage on her show and revealed her mother encouraged her to run on her wedding day if she needed to. Now following their split, Kris's lawyer told the Los Angeles fraud court that Kim had no intention of proceeding with this marriage. It was basically a tactic for the benefit of her show and to make money. But Jonathan Jackson, who worked with the reality star between 2007 and 2009, said that the pair's union was a publicity stunt. Speaking on Good Day LA back in 2011, Jackson said 2 weeks prior to her wedding, she knew it was not something she wanted to do. Unfortunately, they were obligated to honor contracts with the E! Network, which had TV rights. Otherwise, they would have owed a lot of people a lot of money. Now, after their divorce and sketchy relationship, Kris exposed some of Kim's secrets. Back in 2013, Kris revealed that the proposal for the show was not a surprise and that Kim was aware of it, so the scene where she seemed moved and surprised in is super fake. In fact, Kris went further to say that they had to reshoot the proposal because Kim didn't like her reaction. Kim told Kris how, where, and when to propose. It was absolutely no surprise to her whatsoever, a source told Radar Online. First of all, Kris proposed in the middle of the day, and he had to do that because it would create better lighting to capture the moment. Now Kim looked surprised but knew it was happening. She was in full hair and makeup, and she's always in on the show. but all of his ideas were shot down by production officials and Kim. Now, another person she got married to was Kanye West. They got married and had 4 children together, and they were happy until things started to go south in 2020. In July 2020, Kanye acknowledged the possibility of Kim ending their marriage, and later that month, he wrote on Twitter that he had been attempting to divorce Kim. Now, he also wrote that the Kardashian family was attempting to lock him up. In January 2021, CNN reported that the couple were discussing divorce, and a month later, Kim filed for divorce, agreeing to joint custody of their children and declining spousal support from each other. The divorce settlement was finalized in November 2022, and after they divorced, Kim dated Pete Davidson, which Kanye did not like, and he took a lot of digs at Pete and Kim. He posted online about it saying, "You are lying and are liars. Y'all basically kidnapped Chicago on her birthday so she couldn't remember her father not being there, so there. Also, I should see my children 100% of the time, but since there's a separation, it should have been 50% of the time. Y'all wouldn't have played with Donda like that, in Jesus' name." Now, the Kardashians, for their part, have repeatedly denied Kanye's claims about Chicago's birthday, and after this rant, Khloe commented on Kanye's posts, begging him to please stop tearing Kimberly down, adding that she and her family have had enough of the false birthday narrative. Now, at the 2022 Met Gala, Kim arrived in the iconic Happy Birthday Mr. President Marilyn Monroe dress. Now, Kim said the idea of wearing the late actress's dress felt like the perfect representation of America. She was granted special access to wear it as it is kept in a museum, and people did not like this. They thought it was unfair and in poor taste to take the dress of an icon and have Kim wear it. Now, besides that, Kim revealed that she had to lose 16 pounds in 3 weeks in order to fit into the gown. She said, "It was such a challenge, it was like a role, I was determined to fit in it. I'd wear a sauna suit twice a day, run on the treadmill, completely cut out all sugar and all carbs, and just eat the cleanest veggies and protein. I didn't starve myself, but I was so strict." Following this, many slammed Kim for appearing to promote a toxic and dangerous mindset about body image and weight loss. She said, "To me, it was like, okay, Christian Bale can do it for a movie role and that is acceptable. It's all the same to me. I wasn't saying, hey everyone, why don't you go lose this weight in a short period of time." Now, her losing all that weight in a short period of time, though, really rubbed people the wrong way. And finally, we have Kim's short-lived feud with Chloe Grace Moretz. In July 2016, when Kim had her own celebrity feud going on with Taylor Swift, she posted her supposed proof on Snapchat of Taylor lying, and fans went crazy. This annoyed Chloe Grace Moretz, though, who tweeted, "Everyone in the industry needs to get their heads out of a hole and look around and realize what's actually happening in the real world. Stop wasting your voice on something so petulant and unimportant." Minutes later, jumping to her big sister's defense, Khloe Kardashian responded with a collage of pictures. Now, the first picture was of Chloe Grace at the beach, and the next photo was a photo of an unknown blonde-haired woman who she presumably thought was Chloe in the sea, suffering an embarrassing and revealing bikini mishap. Now, Khloe Kardashian captioned the image, "Is this the hole you're referring to?" at Chloe G. Moretz, and Chloe straight away tweeted back, "Fact check, first photo is me filming my movie Neighbors 2, the second photo is some girl who was wrongly photographed." But this feud didn't end there, though. In 2016, Kim turned heads for sharing a full frontal nude selfie with only black bars to protect her modesty on Twitter. She captioned the photo with, "When you're like, I have nothing to wear, LOL." Then, out of nowhere, Chloe responded to the picture by commenting, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Now, Kim didn't take this lying down and replied back, "Let's all welcome at Chloe G. Moretz to Twitter, since no one knows who she is.